So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Ukiah. This is our Sunday virtual service, and I'm so happy that you have decided to come and spend some time with us this morning. And I am the Reverend Dr. Candace Beckett. I am the GAP minister here in Ukiah, and it is my great joy to welcome you, your soul, your heart, your entire being into this moment. And I know that this is that perfect moment for great change to be initiated and to come, and for all of us to hear whatever that message is that we came for, that's somewhere in the treatment, the music, the presentation, anything that happens today, that what you have been looking for is here. What you were seeking is now found. So just sit back and relax, and let's begin, as always, with an opening treatment by Harvey Baumoel.
Thank you, Candace. So let's just relax and close our eyes. Let's wait for Mary, connecting to audio. Hi, Mary, I'm starting the treatment. I know that right here and right now, the presence of God exists in all things everywhere. And I know that it exists within me as well. I am in God, and God is in me. It is with this faith and trust that we put in our higher power, God, within us, that we know that this faith and trust will help guide us through all trials and tribulations, pain, sickness, and illness. All these and all disabilities are tolerable when we know that the divine mind creates within us an image of the perfection and the improvement that we see ourselves growing into every minute, every hour, every day. As we relax and allow the divine mind to enter into our hearts and allow our hearts to enter into our divine mind, we receive the synthesis and alignment between our hearts and our minds. As we exist in both the physical and non-physical reality, we know the non-physical, which comes from the divine mind, is a great power that allows us to accept and transform any condition or problem into that which we desire in the image in our divine mind. We see this power and we know this power. And with gratitude, we know that it is filled with love and peace and joy and beauty. We take this into our hearts and minds and into our world. We let this all be with great love. We let this all be, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Harvey. That was lovely. That was really beautiful. So thank you. And so now we get to have our opening song by our wonderful, beloved soloist, Mary Buckley. So Mary, take it away.
Thank you, Candace. Both my songs today are other people's words, which is really unusual for me. And this first song is not anyone I would have thought I'd ever be inspired to write a song from. But this quote was sent to me a week or two ago, a couple weeks, and I read it once and picked up my little voice recorder and started singing it the second time through. And this is what came out, and I added some harmonies. These are the words of Pope Francis, of all people. I was raised Catholic, and I thought I left that pretty far behind, but maybe not. I'll put it in the chat in case you can't make out the words, because I do like these words. And I'll be singing along with harmonies recorded. Uh-oh, sorry. I had the volume down. Fast from hurting words and say kind words. Fast from sadness and be filled with gratitude. Fast from anger and be filled with patience. Fast from pessimism and be filled with hope. Fast from worry and be filled with trust. Fast from complaints, contemplate simplicity. Fast from pressures and be prayerful. Fast from bitterness, fill your heart with joy. Fast from selfishness and be compassionate. Fast from grudges and be reconciled. Fast from words, be silent and listen. And since it's only a minute long, a minute and a few seconds, I'm going to sing it again. Okay. Fast from hurting words and say kind words. Fast from sadness and be filled with gratitude. Fast from anger and be filled with patience. Fast from pessimism and be filled with hope. Fast from worry and be filled with trust. Fast from complaints, contemplate simplicity. Fast from pressures and be prayerful. Fast from bitterness, fill your heart with joy. Fast from selfishness and be compassionate. Fast from grudges and be reconciled. Fast from words, be silent and listen.
That was really beautiful, Mary. Thank you so much. Yeah, I actually love that piece. And think he wrote that a couple of years ago, and it was actually is for the season, the Lent season. And I think it's one of those things that we really need to be constantly reminded of, not just during Lent, but to actually get that. So thank you for being our reminder this morning. It's wonderful. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today. Kim is a senior ministerial student, and she will be graduating this summer. She's been doing her coursework through Home Institute and ministerial classes with the San Diego branch. And so she's almost ready. She's very close. And when I was talking to her, she said she'll probably be doing her orals in February. So that's a very exciting time for new ministers to be looking forward to. So she has her orals, I guess, in September. I think that's when they are. I sometimes sit on those panels, and so it's pretty exciting. Her background is actually in many Eastern traditions, religions, and she also is into alternative health ideas. Currently, she is living in Grants Pass in Oregon, and she's been up there for the last 21 years. But as she was telling us before the service, before that, she lived in Willits for some time. So she knows our area. And she is a member currently of the Grants Pass CSL, and she's been a member up there for 12 years. For the last 6 of those, she has been a licensed practitioner. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what she has to say. So here is Kim Bibeau, and she will be speaking on willing to be willing. So go ahead, take it away, Kim.
Thank you, Reverend Candace. I so pleased to be here. So it's kind of amazing the dreams and remembrances of being in Willits and therefore being sometimes in Ukiah. And uh, Grants Pass, if you've never been here, is actually similar in some ways to that area. It has that same trees and beauty. Anyway, I'd like to speak today about willingness. Are you willing to be willing? Come to the edge, she said. We can't. We're afraid, they responded. Come to the edge, she said. We can't. We will fall, they responded. Come to the edge, she said. So they came, and she pushed them, and they flew. It's by Apollinaire. Does your life feel like you might be falling off a cliff at any moment? Or maybe you keep coming to the edge of the cliff and stepping back, afraid that something will happen. You might fall. You might crash to the ground. What would happen if you took that next step on your own? That step might take you off the cliff. What if? Really think about it. What if? I'd like to give you a different perspective of Apollinaire's statement. What if you lifted your arms, leaned into spirit, and landed in the softness of the Spirit of God? That subtle, invisible force of life which flows in, around, and through us. When we rest in the vision of our best life, our highest expression of who we are willing to be willing. We allow our highest idea of who we are in spirit to be who we are in expression. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, "There's a life we long to experience. Somehow or other, we are missing the wholeness of things." We uncover the God nature within us, and that subtle, invisible force of life flows more fully between us and all whom we meet. In that uncovering, let us consider then that if God is one, the one God is wherever we are, because God is not divided into fragments. All of God is present wherever we are. God is the essence of who we are, and each of us can say, there is only one God, and that is my God. All that God is my God. Some of that is in me, or I would not exist. Since God is not divided, as much as I can recognize is my experience. And though this may sound as if there are separation, there is not. There is only wholeness in God, of God. Willingness is a frame of mind which is open to every possible demand. Do you think everything has to be hard? That you must mire yourself in negative ideas or demands? Or do you think you just don't want, or things you just won't want to do? Willingness is really not the question. What might be a more true question is this: what is your fear about? You know fear, false evidence appearing real, a place we fear to go because we don't know what will happen. Do you think the change that needs to happen is going to take you to a place you don't want to go? Are we coming into that change kicking and screaming? We have choice. We always have had choice, and always do have choice. I think many of us has learned to cope with change by not choosing and going into things by kicking and screaming. What if we were to think of this change as a vision, one that we have co-created with the divine? We attune ourselves with it, becoming the avenues through which it reveals itself as our lived experience. A direct revelation, one that is so much a part of our individual selves that we just do our lives just as we have always done. As we are more and more involved with our vision for our life, we have a greater knowledge of who and what spirit is in our lives. We use the mind of God. We use the voice of God, and we know and share the love of God. We embrace and accept as we are able to embrace and accept. In all of this knowing and sharing, we are more and more willing and accepting of who we are in our own individual self. And we are more willing to be willing, to have the willingness to grow and express who we are, and to share that love with others in divine service, divine vision. Spirit is always asking us to be the clearest expression of who we are in this present moment. Not who we were yesterday, nor who will we become, but who we are now in this moment. As Spirit is asking me to be who I am in this moment, I can say that I am expressing as a ministerial student, knowing as much about science and mind philosophy as I am able, which is more than yesterday, more than today, and still I will know more tomorrow. Am I willing to be willing? Yes, I am. Have I come into this kicking and screaming? Oh, yes. Have fears of expressing myself laid me on the ground? Yes. And I continue to grow in love and understanding of who I am and what I'm here to do. I'm understanding that my past experiences, good, bad, or otherwise, are just that. They make me who I am today, and because of them, I am a more beautiful and expressive human being. You too are that beautiful, expressive, talented, and creative being. Look in the mirror tomorrow morning or this evening and see that you have met the most important person you will meet today. Know that every time you see the person you came here to be, you see a beautiful, expressive, creative, prosperous, and joyful person. You can be any quality of God that your heart sees for you. And yet, you can go and let go of any part that doesn't fit for you. In front of my computer, which I now sit at a lot, I have a magnet that says, "You are unrepeatable. You are unrepeatable. There is a magic about you that is all your own." This was written by D.M. Dillinger. I say it aloud often. I am repeatable, and I'm unrepeatable. And I'm unrepeatable because there is a magic about me. There is no one in this universe or any other universe who is you. No one could take your place in anything or in any way because you are that unique being who has the magic, the love, the life, the light, peace, beauty, and joy that is you. Dr. Reverend Sharon Hudson asked this question of herself most days. Is there something to release? Something that is keeping me from living freely, in peace, and in love? I want to tell this story about myself. 40 years ago, I really wanted to learn sign language. So I took classes in ASL, and while I could learn the signs, I had trouble expressing them both with my physical expression and with my hands. Both of these forms of expression are very, very important in ASL. Recently, I took an ASL class to learn more how to express science and mind principles in ASL. I was so excited to realize that not only did I still know many of the signs I had learned, but I was not afraid to express myself. It was a fun, expansive class, and I will be continuing to take these courses because my ability to express myself in other ways has expanded exponentially in these last few years in particular. This is embracing a vision from long ago. This is me releasing my fears. This is what each and every one of us can do with the trust and faith in Spirit, in the God of our understanding. What will you be willing to do in your new vision of yourself. What will you be willing to have and to share? Are you willing to be willing? I'm going to add a little affirmation here today. I know that as I become all that is me, I come forth in my own perfect vision of who I am. Will you repeat that? I know I didn't write it up, but it's here. I know that as I become all that is me, I come forth in my own perfect vision of who I am. I'd like to share a spiritual mind treatment that Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson from CSL Greater Baltimore gave for us to learn in sign language. I'm not going to do that today, but I would like to share the prayer. It spoke to me differently than how we kind of normally pray, because it is done in sign language, though I will give you the, in quotes, English version. I breathe anchored in the knowing that God is all the presence, love, life, happiness, and wisdom in the here and now. This list of truths about God are lists that are true about me. And are God and I separate? That is impossible. Only God is truth. I accept and allow my mind, heart, and life to express wonder in, through, and as me. Wow, it is good to be alive, to demonstrate love, peace, health, happiness, and more. I greatly surrender this prayer, and law accepts, receives, and acts on this prayer. What does that mean? Is prayer answered later? Oh no. Prayer is answered now, right now. And in this prayer, there is teaching. In this prayer, there is acceptance for each and every one of us, each and every one in our world, in our town, in our communities, and the love that we bring forward into our lives, the love that we have for each individual, the love within, the knowing, the accepting, the shifting in great consciousness allows each and every one of us to grow in perfect health, abundance, love, to grow and to know. And I am so incredibly grateful for this time, this space, and this willingness to be willing. And I release this prayer into the law of love, into the law of knowing. And as it comes into the universe and returns to each of us in our awareness. And I ask you to join with me. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Kim. That was beautiful. Oh, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just take that deep breath in and just let us all just sit with that wonder and gratitude. What a beautiful thing. I could almost, when you were reading Raymond's prayer, I could almost see him, because I closed my eyes, I could almost see him during the signing. He's a real gift for us right now too, but Kim, you are a gift, and thank you so much for being a part of our service today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So now we're going to move on. It's time for our offering, and I want to begin by just thanking all of you who, it is because of your continued support to our center that we are still here, and so we want that to continue. So this is the time where you do get to consider those gifts that that you send in to us one way or another. And so let us say our offering affirmation together. So please say with me now: divine love through me blesses and multiplies this gift. With all my heart and with all my mind, I know that I'm saying yes to something I value. With all others present here, we dedicate these gifts to the values and vision we share. So it is. So we do have a couple of announcements. So I'll share those with you. We are, as you know, these haven't changed much in the last couple of weeks, but I am going to keep reminding you. We are entering into a phase of looking at moving towards reopening. And it appears that we may be getting very close to that. And I've heard from other California ministers, because there are some churches that are kind of limited open, but most of us are not at this point. But it looks like probably around the 1st of June, so another month, we will be able to do something, at least in a limited way. However, in order to do that, we need to look at figuring out how that's going to look for us. And and for me, sitting over here at my desk by myself, it feels kind of daunting. But what I'm really happy about is that I'm not by myself. I have all of you. What we're looking to do with our reopening is being able to live stream the service from the center. So if you would like to be a part of that, there's lots of different kinds of jobs. We'll be going back to probably having a presider, and maybe, we'll just have to look because we don't know about numbers, but we'll be looking at, restaffing the service. So if you're interested in taking up one of those little jobs, and if we can live stream, you can still be like, do the opening treatment, and you can do that from your home. And also things like that are possibilities. We're also looking into what kind of equipment we need. We would love to have somebody, because right now I'm kind of doing both of the, often I'm presenting the service and I'm also monitoring the service over in the chat. So we need somebody who might be willing, or a couple of people who might be interested in learning how to be the moderator for the service, which I could tune you into a lot of people that do that in other centers, and they really love it. They feel very connected with everyone by doing that. So if you're interested in anything, or you just have questions about, well, what are the possibilities and what are we looking for, please respond to me directly, which means use my email. And I know you are all on the mailing list, so my email is in the newsletter every week. But just in case, it's Candice, CANDICE @pacific.net. So it's a pretty easy one. So please let me know if you're interested. The other thing is we are reestablishing our selection committee as we enter into a time where we're going to be looking for our new senior minister. And so if you would like to participate, you also need to let me know that, because I keep hearing rumors that there are people that are interested, but other than board members, I haven't heard from anyone. So again, please email me, call me directly. We need one layperson, one practitioner, and a board member. And like I said, we have all three of those on the board, but I don't want just board members. I want some other people that represent the congregation. So take a look and see if maybe that's in your heart. And right now, the first thing the selection committee is going to be working at, and the board is already looking at this, is the proposal that we sent for Open Pulpit to look for a new minister to CSL. We're going to be revising that. So if you're interested in helping in that and being the person who'll be the first one to know as we get applicants, give me a call and let me know that. The third one is we are still supporting Building Bridges, which is the homeless shelter here in town. And Teresa, who's on today, hey Teresa, is collecting things. And you can call her and drop them off at her house. You can drop them off at Judy Morgan's house, or you can take them directly to the shelter. And when you get to the shelter, and I think most of you know where that is on State Street, you can just call in and a staff member will come out. They'll unload it for you. So it's pretty, stress-free. So if you'd like to be a part of that, there you go. And they always need stuff. So Teresa, I always want to make sure that, do you have anything you want to add to that? No, not today. Yeah, so, anything, toilet paper, paper towels, anything like that. Just let us, know. And you can also call them and see if there's something specific that they need like right away. And I'm sure that they'd be more than happy to tell you. So, okay, so that kind of brings us to the end of our service. We do have time today. So if you would like to stay on, we'll have some time to visit and just to get to know each other. But before we end, let's have one more song from the amazing Mary Buckley.
Thanks, Candace. And thanks, Kim, for those wonderful words. Really inspiring. This song is actually 5 short poems by the Danish mathematician Piet Hein. He called them grooks. I think he just made up that word. I looked it up and I couldn't find any roots or anything. He just made it up. And I turned 5 of these little poems into a song. I'd like to know what this whole show is all about before it's out. I'd like to know what this whole show is all about before it's out. Nature, it seems, is the popular name for milliards and milliards and milliards of particles playing their infinite game of billiards and billiards and billiards. I'd like to know what this whole show is all about before it's out. I'd like to know what this whole show is all about before it's out. The soul may be a mere pretense. The mind makes very little sense. So let us value the appeal of that which we can taste and feel. I'd like to know what this whole show is all about before it's out. I'd like to know what this whole show is all about before it's out. Knowing what thou knowest not is in a sense omniscience. Love while you've got love to give. Live while you've got life to live. I'd like to know what this whole show is all about before it's out. I'd like to know what this whole show is all about before it's out. before it's out.
That was great, Mary. I gotta say, when you sent me those little things, I was like, how's she gonna make this work? Worked. That
I
was
didn't hear what you said.
lovely. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, Candace, I didn't hear that the last part of what you said.
Oh, it was just when you sent me those, because you sent all of the little, what are they called?
Oh,
Books? And I thought, well, how's she gonna make that work? And you so totally made it work. That was really
okay.
great. So just thank you so much. And so thank all of you for being a part of the service today. It was wonderful. It always makes my Sunday. So thank you again for being here, and we'll see you next week. Namaste.